Good afternoon and welcome to the Happy Half Hour. I'm Leigh Kubin, Master Certified Life Coach and Mindset Coach.
I'm Sandra Priestley. I'm a leadership coach and a feng shui practitioner. And this is our 50th episode.
Can you believe it? I remember early on, we had agreed that at our 50th episode, we were going to share some dom.
And we are.
And we are. Here we are.
Yay.
I've got my bottle.
Oh my God.
And the delicate little cork that came out of it, it just like plucked out. So, oh my gosh. So happy birthday, Sandra.
Thank you. I am 50. This would be cool if I was 50 on our 50th.
Right.
But
we couldn't have had all these great 50 talks.
I know we have. I know. So 51 today, and our 50th episode, and we're sharing dom.
Yeah.
How freaking cool.
And I pulled out my Tiffany flute. I don't pull these out often. I felt like
so pretty.
There was nothing that was more deserving to go in this glass.
I agree. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers. Wow. That's pretty good.
It is.
I brought the Empress Gin to put in it, but I don't think it needs it.
It doesn't. You know, I don't know if I said this before, but when I retired from my government job, my husband bought me a bottle of this champagne. It's the most expensive champagne you can get here without ordering it, I think. And so he bought me a bottle of this champagne, and we opened it, and like I was sitting in sweatpants. I mean, I was not like, today I am dressed, but that day I was so busy at work. It was my very last day. And so I was just like, we were so casual. And yet we opened the bottle and there was just something so next level about it. And he said, it isn't even about the taste. It's about being able to and experiencing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And being able to experience it and experiencing it. It's a whole experience. I love the box. I love opening up the box. I love how it's cared for. I love how it's cradled. I love the delicate cork. I love the inserts. I love the ribbon.
Because I've never had a bottle like this before.
Right.
I've never had this experience before.
Oh.
And do you notice every time there's like a next level for you to achieve, that you're like right there, getting ready to experience it?
Yeah.
Shit just pops up. And it's like trying to distract you from where you're going. So, and it happened to me this morning. And
as well. Yeah. So this is like, I wonder, how are we going to be celebrating our 500th with the $2,000 bottle of champagne? Possibly. You know, there's some up level that both you and I are going through, because today felt like there was moments where we both could have gone down that rabbit hole of
crap. Not today. And I can't do this today. I can't do this today. Like talking about this.
Yeah.
Instead, and here's my biggest lesson in 50 episodes, is I could have said that, and I'm just going to put this on hold. We can do this tomorrow. We don't have to do this today, blah, blah, blah. But instead, I said, I'm not doing the bullshit today.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that. I don't have energy for that. And it's not my stuff. Like,
and we get to choose. We choose badass.
Yeah. Because you can be distracted or badass, but you can't be both.
Yeah.
Be pissed or badass.
Or badass. This is I really feel like, in the 50 episodes, and that's what we were going to talk about is like, what have we learned in the 50 episodes? And I kind of jotted down a few things, but I guarantee just when we're talking, so much more amazingness is going to come out. But this is one of the things that I have grabbed from the 50 episodes is this concept of you can be something or badass, but you can't be both. And I don't remember what podcast episode it was that that we were talking about this, but
it was when I was being insecure.
Right. And you said you chose in that moment.
Yeah.
I can be insecure or badass, but not both. Choose wisely. Like choose one.
Yeah.
I swear, I say this to myself all the time. I can be negative or badass. I can be fearful or badass.
Yeah.
I can be insecure or badass. I can be small or badass. Like it is, I can be in my distraction or I can be badass.
Because all that other stuff is just distractions, keeping us from doing what we want to be doing and should be doing and came here to do.
Exactly.
And it keeps us small.
Yeah. I know that it is one of the things that one of the blessings, and it's one of my go-tos. It's one of the blessings that just like naturally came out of this podcast.
Yeah.
And it's one of my go-tos to get me back on track and out of the crap, right? Because we get to choose. We can get distracted or have a distractor that is something completely outside of ourselves. And we can roll around in that. Or we can say, not today. Not today, you pile of crap. I'm choosing badass.
Not rolling around in you today.
Right. Exactly.
But it's funny because we know all this, right? And things still come up and we still have reactions.
Yeah.
But I think the difference is how long we stay there.
Yes.
I agree. Because everyone on the planet has shit that comes up, slaps them in the face. There's going to be reactions. We are human. And I think we all need to kind of realize that as we're going through our day, we're going to have moments that aren't really in alignment with where we want to go.
Yeah.
But we just don't need to stay there too long. Feel it for a minute and then go, does this feel good or would that feel better?
Exactly. Yeah. And this is the thing for me is that when we got just prior to us pressing record, we both had this debrief of let's just dump our shit of the day.
Yeah.
So that we can move on so that we can say, this is the big pile of crap that I was handed today. And I need to just tell you about it, release it so that I'm not rubbing my face in it. And then I can show up on this amazing podcast. Right. And I think there's like two polar opposite ways we can handle it that are not good. Number one is rubbing our face in it, rolling around in the stuff and just like keep telling this story over and over again and almost like feeding it, like feeding the fear. Or we can pretend it doesn't exist. We can just pretend it doesn't exist, don't feel it at all, and just move on, which just minimizes the tab. It's still there.
Yeah.
Still going to have to do
just compartmentalized it for a moment.
Right. It's going to come back and bite us in the ass.
We've got to deal with it for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I feel like in this year, in these 50 episodes, I feel like you and I have really come together to work through this stuff so fast, like so quickly, right? Like together or separate too, but like, I don't know. I just think it's so magical that we've been able to almost speed up the process.
Well, I've been thinking about this all week. I feel like we have a coaching session every week.
We do.
You know? Yeah. And I feel like it's where we're just coaching each other, even though it's so different than a coaching session, but the feelings and the lessons that come from it, because we share so much about things that are going on and where we are and where we want to be. And
Right.
it is interesting. And that's what it feels like to me is that kind of a up level, because when I look at where I am now and where my focus is and where I was when we started this 50 episodes ago, man, I'm in a whole different place.
Yeah.
Everything feels different. Everything looks different. My goals are different.
I agree.
Um,
Yeah. From
all
a podcast.
from the vortex.
Well, it could be from the vortex, yes. But like
Yeah.
from a decision, from you listening to your intuition, your divine guidance that said, she's got to do a podcast with my friend. No, wait, we're meant to do one together.
Yeah.
And me saying, okay. It took a little bit, but like came out of the
I'll
blue.
stop in from time to time.
Right.
I'm not making any commitments. Okay, Sandra.
But, and then just really taking that risk. And now our lives have just up leveled. Like,
Yeah.
and this is one of the things that I really felt, one of the things that I wrote down that has shifted for me in the 50 episodes is our connection, our friendship.
Yes. Yes.
Because like we barely knew each other.
Yeah.
We didn't really, right? Like you coached me, but it's not like we had Zoom calls back then in the day.
But it was business.
It was business.
Yes.
I was
I had known how fantastic you were, it would have turned into a friendship, but I had no idea.
Right. I know. But really it was just like I remember when you came to me and said, okay, I think we're meant to do this podcast to get together. I thought, whoa, what are we going to talk about? And I don't know. Okay, sure. It was this moment, like it took me a few days, I think, but from not knowing each other to then having you be such a huge part of my life and my up level and my weekly like go-to person. It's just amazing. And it's amazing to me that people would say, how long have you known her?
Yeah.
Like, how long have you guys
your
been
best friend?
best friends?
Yeah.
It's
Well, it was funny when I was looking through my phone today for a picture of us to post for your birthday.
Yeah.
I'm going through my phone, seeing pictures of you, but they're of this. And then it hits me. We've never like hugged. I've never seen her face in person.
I know. It's so wild though, right? But also I have to say, this is the same with coaching relationships. Because some of my closest friends, some of the people that, of all of my closest friends, the ones that I know in person and the ones that I know online that I've never ever met, it's about vulnerability. It's about honesty, vulnerability. It's about sharing goals and sharing fears, sharing beliefs and sharing, all of this stuff. It's the vulnerability, I think, is the big thing. And so when you're coaching with someone or you're coming to this podcast willing to show up as we are and show up scared, it's like such a huge thing.
It's everything, because that's how people connect. We don't, if I had shown up as perfect and never having anything that I dealt with, and you had shown up with that, there wouldn't be any connection, because there would be nothing real there.
Exactly.
Because life is not always neat and tidy.
No. And I don't choose it to be.
No.
I actually don't choose it to be, because if we don't experience the lows, we
Mhm.
can't experience the opposites.
Correct.
It's the yin and the yang of it all, right? It's the yin and so if everything was just like monotone and there was no lows, we wouldn't recognize a high,
No.
recognize the amazing stuff. It would just be all the same level. But like, this is what I find so amazing.
Well, we came here to experience life.
Mhm.
And we didn't come here to have this perfect, easy, whatever life. We came here to experience it and
Yeah.
make our way through and find things that work. It's a game, for
Yeah.
lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And, I think about how many times in my life I would try to force things. Like, this is the way this is supposed to be. And I've got to force this and make it happen. And the more I forced, the less it worked. And finally, something was like, sometimes I would get there and it would be like, what the fuck did I push for this? Like, really?
Mhm.
And it occurred to me one day, why aren't you trusting the universe, God, source, whatever, however you connect? Why aren't you trusting in that
Right.
instead of trying to control every little thing that happens and where you're going? Because what's out there that's meant for us is so much more than what we can imagine. And when we stifle it by putting parameters on it or saying it has to happen this way and it can only come from here, instead of being like a little kid full of faith and excitement going, oh, what's next?
I know. I know. And, I heard a quote the other day, and it was something like, we can't expand if we're afraid of the consequences of expanding.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it's so true, because as I look at the last year, like my last year, I quit my job. I took a big risk. I signed up for with a coach for a year. I mean, it's a big commitment. And I really thought about, like, I want to expand and I'm willing to experience the consequences of potential expansion.
Mhm,
It is
mhm.
being handed opportunities to grow,
Every day.
being handed big piles of crap that you're going to need to deal with. But it gives you the opportunity to learn to manage those
Yeah,
stresses,
yeah.
because you're going to need them at the next level. So I'm not I'm not afraid of the consequences, because I know that the expansion is worth it. And that's what I came here to do.
Mhm, mhm.
And so, yeah, in looking back over these past 50 episodes, it's almost shocking to me how much I feel like I've expanded just even internally as a person.
Oh,
I
yeah.
always had that, I've been teaching women for 2 years now this course on how to regain their personal power.
Mm,
And this is something that I did in 2018 after just crumbling, like sitting like on the floor, rocking in the fetal position, kind of
yeah.
crumbling, exhausted, can't function. And so I've been doing that all along, but I feel as though the last 50 episodes has really helped me to fine tune that and to really regain power.
But
Like,
do you now realize why you went through that?
oh, yeah.
What
I
was
mean,
born out of that?
well, a course that changes women's lives,
Yeah.
right?
But I mean,
Because I know what it
specifically
feels
for
like.
you, like
Mm,
the hell you went through in
yeah.
that time period and what came out of it. That
Oh,
was a
exactly. Like,
gift.
I'm a completely different person, I
Yeah.
swear.
Hmm.
A completely different person. And my entire life, I was overthinking. I had numerous thoughts going through my mind over and over and over again. I would be like just in my head, constantly thinking and constantly tired, constantly with high cortisol and stress. that I couldn't manage, and always overthinking everything with like 10 different thoughts going through my mind. And now it's just one.
Mhm.
It's just one. And I'll recognize when I'm like, even let's say I'm on this podcast, if something is like, if something distracts me, I can hear myself go, oh, wait, focus.
Yeah.
I never could have done that before because I had 10 things, 10 discussions in my head. I
Yeah.
swear.
Yeah. What if this, and what if this, and what if this, and all this shit that doesn't matter, that's distracting you from this.
From the moment, from being
Yeah.
in the now, as
Yeah.
Eckhart Tolle says,
Because
right?
no matter,
Yeah.
no matter what's going on in this now, it's for our benefit. And when it looks like it's not, and we get all distracted and upset and whiny because it's happening, we're missing the whole purpose of it
Yeah.
and what it's there to teach us and show us so we can go to that next level.
It's so true.
Not a punishment,
It's so true.
but the
And
stories we make up. Whew.
and when we can see it, and this is the other thing that I was thinking, there's so many things that we hear that just seem like platitudes, like they just seem like, the universe has your back. Thank you, Gabby. But you hear it so many times, the universe has your back, the universe has your back, and you start to think, okay, what kind of shit is this?
Right.
And then sometimes it's like it's happening for you, not to you.
Mm-hmm. It's my
And again,
favorite
you
one.
think, oh my gosh, can you stop with the quotes? I'm done with the quotes, until you experience that and you
Yes.
feel it.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, one of the other differences is like, I feel that so deeply.
Mm-hmm.
It's all happening for me in some way, no matter how bad it is.
Well, all you have to do to prove that is to look back at your life
True.
and all of the things that have happened and
Mhm.
what it's turned into for you.
Exactly.
We can't go back, but and redo things. But all those choices and decisions put you right here where you are. And what if that was the goal?
What if that is the goal
You know?
for everyone, for everything?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know it's funny because working with people, I used to really, as they're talking about where they are and where they're wanting to go in my head, I'm like, oh, well, I know the path. You just do this and this. I don't say it out loud, but I'm kind of planning out where they're going to go, what's
Mhm.
best for them, according to Leigh,
Yeah.
and watching them evolve because I can't tell them what I think, to ask
Yeah.
them questions. And 100% of the time, 100%, they come up with these ideas that are not at all what I was just thinking they needed to come up with. And when they find it and they do it, I'm in awe.
I know.
And it's like, wow, they knew what they were, that was their path. They
Yeah.
just needed help finding it. And what it's taught me is to shut the fuck up when I'm
Mm.
wanting to tell someone, okay, and I'm not talking about clients now, I'm talking about friends, family. Here's your
Yeah.
path. You need to do this and this and this and this and this. Um, because they know it's in them.
So true.
Mm-hmm. And we all know.
I have really had to hold myself back because I'm the same way and I'm intuitive. And so I see clients come to me and I say, they'll tell me same things that I have said out loud years ago.
Mhm.
There's a wall. Why is there a wall? I know I'm meant for huge success, but there's a wall in front of me. I just need someone to tell me what to do. And when they say this to me, I'm like, well, I can tell you what to do. And it is really, really freaking hard for me to not just say, like, for me to shut up and just keep my trap shut and ask questions. It's really hard. And
Well, it's a different thing to say when you're hitting a wall, like when you're trying to up level and you've got this shit coming up.
yeah,
Explain how this is a distraction from that.
Right.
So as long as you're focused on this, you cannot create. That's a whole different thing than giving them a blueprint of what they need to do with their life.
Well, and probably this year, one of the things that I've really, really started to focus on is resistance. And it's not necessarily a wall, it's this invisible wall that we're just choosing to not go through, go around or step back from, right? Like it's an invisible wall and we're creating it ourselves based on stuff that we've had in the past. And so really supporting people through that or around it, one or the other. I mean, you can go around it, you can go through it. And I feel as though my own experience with doing that has allowed me to help women really either go through it or go around it as well. But yeah, it's so, the coaching industry is so fun, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so, people are so complex.
Yes.
And
they're also different, but they're all the same.
It's so true.
And like with every client I have, I see myself in them. And it's in totally different ways, but I relate to what they're going through. And it always comes back to me with that might not be your struggle, their particular struggle, but you have one that means the same thing.
Yeah.
And so it's just amazing because it just reflects back, like clean this up in you.
Yes.
Clean this up in you. And you don't have to tell them clean that up. They know they need it cleaned up. They're trying to.
Yeah.
You know, but it's the best thing in the world. But it's a lot of work.
It is.
And so then there's that aspect. And then there's the whole feng shui aspect. As soon as we got together on the podcast, somehow I was inspired to start working on the house. The entire inside of the house has been painted. The entire exterior has been painted. I don't know if you could hear it or not. I'm hoping our listeners could not, but we have tree guys outside trimming trees.
I heard them. So
I saw your face. I knew you did. But I don't think it'll come through on the recording because I've got a setting. So
hopefully not.
Anyway, but that whole aspect of the change it's created as well. Holy hell. I remember going, okay, everything's calm. And then on my birthday, on my 50th birthday, it's like everything went, oh, and not everything. I'm being dramatic. One thing, everything else was just as it should be. But you have these things that come up and that make you grow. And girl, I've been growing. But I think,
oh, go ahead.
Well, I think our talks have helped me manage it better and put it aside and go, do you want to focus on that? Or do you want to build this? What do you want to do?
Yes. And I think just coming here every single week, it's like therapy, but like coming together every single week reminds us of where we're going.
Yeah.
Every single one of us needs someone or a podcast that they listen to like every week or consistently that reminds them of where they're going and not where they are or where they were or where they don't want to be. Like you need to have that person that reminds you of that so that you can focus where you want to go. One of the things that I wrote down that I have really achieved in these last 50 episodes was I feel like I have become more me than I ever have. And I've really stopped doing shit that I hate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I really understand I'm more discerning on what am I doing because I want to do it? What am I doing or what am I saying yes to because I feel like I should? And should is guilt. Right. So and I have this moment where I talk to myself and I think, am I doing this because I want to? am I doing this because my next level will do this? Like, am I doing it for someone else? And will it enrich me or that person? Or is this something that I should be saying no to, that it just feels not in alignment with who I am?
Yeah.
Like, I really have this moment with myself, and I really, especially in business, I think, but am I doing Instagram stories because I love to, because my clients see me there, because they love to see me there, or because someone told me I should?
Mm-hmm.
And I have this moment where I really take stock, and I do that really quickly now.
Yeah.
Like a lot more quickly than I used
It
to.
is a quicker process. We get there
Yes.
sooner. Yeah, and I've related to myself in a whole different way in these last 50. It's so interesting. I see myself as the child I was. Like, that's who I was when I was that little cute little baby girl.
Right.
And the things that happened to me along the way, like, I understand differently. Like, I used to be sad or bitter or whatever about things that have happened to me, especially through my childhood.
Yeah.
And it's like, now I understand all of those things were just making me who I am. And I wish I had understood that at the time, because I made so many assumptions about who I was and what I was worth and all of that based on bad information. And so there's this grace, I think, and I don't even know how that's even, I don't know if something that we talk about brings that shit up for me. But it's just interesting. But then you have to look at other people the same way.
Right. Exactly.
And then it gives you grace, seeing that, like, oh, they were doing the best they could. Like, there's this whole understanding of people are the way they are because of,
Yeah.
things that happened. But I almost wish there was a class we could take that would explain, this means this and this doesn't mean this, because goodness, girl, we make up stories.
We do. We
But
do.
not more, not
And
long term.
I have really been kind of in this space of seeing that we were placed on this earth with these strengths and these gifts and these, like, just this amazingness, you
Mhm.
know? And when we're little, we don't have the fear of what someone's thinking about us.
We don't know.
We don't know. We don't care. We wear purple and orange and red together, and one sock and one shoe and one flip flop, and it doesn't matter. I am not a singer today. I'm not a singer. You never know. But
We could go
you
take
know,
lessons.
I used to one day maybe,
Yeah.
but I used to sit on the swing set. Well, I think I said this in one of the podcasts, but sit on the swing set and just swing away and sing Take Me Home Country Roads at the loudest I possibly could.
Yeah.
Over and over and over and over again for hours. Like, I don't know who was listening, but I bet they had earplugs in. And I didn't care. I didn't care about who was thinking, who was hearing me. And I just think, what if we all did that?
Yeah.
What if we just all
Yeah.
did that? We didn't worry about that. But then we go to school, and, we're placed in a box,
Yeah.
a whole bunch of people that judge us, and we start to get fearful. And it's like we put on these coats of armor and cover up the amazingness that we were placed on this earth with. And I think our lives is like to remove the armor and see what's there. Like, who did we come here to be?
Yeah.
And how can we be more of that?
Yes. Every day.
Every day.
Mhm.
Yeah. I know. It's just been
Wow.
amazing. It's just been such an amazing 50 episodes.
So
And I can't believe we're here.
I know. And I'm like, this has been amazing. What's next?
What's the next 50 going to be?
I mean, I'm guessing that on our 100th episode, I think I've already agreed to drink rum,
Yes.
but only if it's been a really good day.
I can angry Leigh could come out.
I mean, I might like turn into the Hulk and rip my shirt off and turn green and start screaming.
The good thing is Spotify now has video.
So everyone can see.
Everyone can see. And I really love that we just experience this and we don't really chop it up and we don't edit it. Like, I don't know who is trying to
sort of throw it out there.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's just the way that we are.
Yeah.
So if you happen to rip your shirt off, that might be the most watched episode we have.
Well, I didn't really mean it in that way. I just meant like the whole, I would get all muscly and turn green and,
that would be awesome.
Okay. Join us for episode 100 when Leigh turns
100. I know.
Okay.
But what's crazy though?
Yeah.
Do you remember when I said to you, okay, well, yes, I will do this, but I feel a little apprehensive because I'm not sure that I can commit to this long term.
Yes.
And here we are, 50 later.
Yeah.
And we're
talking about our 100th.
And we're talking about I even said 500th. So
see,
I know maybe we'll both have gone gray by then.
Yes,
that would be cool.
Oh my gosh, this woman came into the office the other day and her hair, I think it was a little shorter, but it was the most beautiful silver. And it was like, I mean, it was hers, I think, because it was silver, but it had these dark pieces. And it wasn't like you go to the hairdresser. I don't know if you say that word. Hairstylist. And they put low lights in. It looked like she just still had some black hair. It was growing around her gray.
I find it so beautiful.
And she was stunning. And I was like, oh my God, you were so beautiful. Yeah. She looked at me like, but it was truly like, I want your hair.
Yeah. I know. One day. It might be episode 500.
It might be. I mean, mine, you can't see it, but it would look better the other way.
Yeah.
If it were the silver with a little bit of dark. Okay, we're out of time. But Sandra, thank you so much. And another cheers. Happy, we'll see if we can touch them. Cheers, Sting. Close. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Go enjoy your birthday. And thank you guys for joining us for the Happy Half Hour. We will see you next Thursday. Bye.
Bye.